Ellen, can you hear me? Hello. Hi. Let me know if you can hear me. Anybody? Yes, thank you. I just like to make sure because you never know what's going to happen on any day. It's so nice to see all of you. Thank you for coming on the Super Bowl. I'm your pre-Super Bowl show. Welcome to all of you. It's so great to see you here. Thank you so much. I just take a second to see you all. 6 months, wow. So happy that you're here. No Super Bowl in Europe. I was thinking that you're off to sleep soon. Oh, well, I'm really thrilled to be with you today. And today, the session is called The Light Inside. And actually, The Light Inside was the title of my first website. I just really love the words, and I like the sentiment of the light inside, because I think that's really what everything is pointing towards, this light inside of us, even if it feels out of reach or we can't connect to it, that light is there. And it's sometimes that light is like a lantern that's covered with soot. That's a metaphor that's often used, but the light is there nonetheless. So I just really like that notion of the light inside that I feel like all spiritual traditions are pointing towards. So today, I actually like to use that title when I just want to have an open theme. Usually, as you probably know, I usually pick a theme or a subject and then I base my live session on that. But I just wanted to schedule one of these so that I could just see what was arising just spontaneously in the moment for me and for all of us together. And so I've just been sitting this week just noticing like what is coming up inside of me and the people that I talk to. And it's interesting how these themes kind of just emerge. I find that sometimes some of you may know that I do one-to-one sessions, and it's really interesting because I find that oftentimes there's like these waves where many people are going through similar things at the same time. Of course, not knowing one another, but working through similar themes or struggles. And of course, it's reflecting something that I'm always working through too. So that's always really interesting. So some things have come up and I just thought I would share them and then maybe take some space and open time for us to connect, because I feel like I'm usually so focused on my session that I rarely get to read the comments and really engage. And if I had my wish, we would all be in the same place so that we could have a conversation. It wouldn't just be me, talking to you, but it would be a reciprocity, which it is because we're here together, but you know what I mean, an actual conversation. So somebody asked me what that was one of Thich Nhat Hanh's calligraphy. It says "True love heals," which is one of my favorites, and it's probably hard to see, but I just really like that one. And some of you may have been at my session 2 weeks ago to honor Thich Nhat Hanh, and I just thank you for being there with me for that. And I've continued to just really feel him and be thinking about him and practicing with him and reading his words. And it's interesting in some ways, for me anyway, with his physical form not here, I feel him and experience him in a different way. I experience his teachings in a different way. So he's very much present for me too. So I'm going to start with my invocation, and then we'll see. We'll see what happens. So please relax. And this is usually my sessions are 90 minutes. And I know that might be a little long to carve out. So whenever you need to leave, thank you for being here. And if you can give yourself as much time as you can to just really take this time for yourself, I recommend that. It's really nice to be able to just give ourselves time and space to drop in and not do like a, drive-through thing where it's just like stopping to get your coffee and running away, but to actually drop in so we can let go of, takes time sometimes to let things go. So. Tea. So I always like to do an invocation. I know this is not new to many of you, but if you are new here, I sing devotional music and mantras and chants. And I always begin with an invocation, which is just a way of just calling in blessings and prayers for our time together, that we may each receive whatever we need at this time. I don't know what that is for each of you, and I don't even know what it is for myself, but may I be open to receive that. And may I'm become open so that something flows through the session, because it certainly isn't flowing through my through me. It's not me doing it, right? So may I become open is the prayer. Snigdhapangavidhokinim Bhagavatim Mandasvidashrimukim Vatsalyamritavarshinim Sumaturam Sankirtanalapinim Shyamangim Madhusiktasuktim Amritanandatmikam Ishvari Om Amriteshwari Namah Om Amriteshwari Namah Om Amriteshwari Namah Ananta Samsar Samudratara Nakaitanyam Guru Bhakti Davyam Vairagya Samrahanjata Pujanapiyam Namo Namaste Guru Padukapyam Namo Namaste Guru Padukapyam Namo Namaste Guru Padukapyam Namo 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 Thank you. Sawadi did an amazing first live session yesterday, and it was so great, Sawadi. Um, and then there were some technical difficulties in the beginning, and I was totally empathizing with that, because it's so vulnerable to do these sessions. I've been doing them for a while now, I guess a year and a half or something. And every time, every day, when it's time to do the live sessions, I really do get nervous about it. Not just because I don't know if something's going to happen with the technology, but just because I feel like I literally feel just like so exposed. There's such a vulnerability to it. But I've kind of started to embrace it and just accepted that, like, whatever happens, happens. And it's like the weather, like sometimes there's like a rain cloud, that comes through and there's tears, and sometimes there's laughter, and sometimes it's serious and heavy, and sometimes it's light and it's funny and it's everything. And so to me, that's what this is all about. Satsang is a Sanskrit word, which means a fellowship or a gathering of truth. So it can mean a lot of different things. It can mean to be in the company of a Mahatma or a great soul, like the Buddha or Jesus or Thich Nhat Hanh or Amma, the Dalai Lama, to be in the presence of a being like that. It can also mean to come together in the name of truth, to explore truth. And that's what we're doing. And to me, it means truth with a capital T and a small t. The capital T is like the big truth, the mystery of existence, what's going on, the absolute reality, the mystery, waking up to that. And then the small t is like our human truth, to tell the truth about our lives. I think there's something so important about having a space to do that, because there's so much untruth, right, in this era of fake news. And when spirituality just kind of becomes reduced to like a meme or like an Instagram post, it kind of gets this veneer on it, and then we're not really relating as like heart to heart as real human beings anymore. So I like to honor and really have that intention that we could just be together as for real, like as real human beings, and be honest about it, not like try to make things look like what they're not. So actually that's connected to what I was wanting to talk about a little bit today. So I called the session The Light Inside, and I was just thinking about light actually before I came in to do the session, and how, obviously love and light are really the two most important things in this world, you could say. But love and light have also become quite cheapened, right? Love and light, you can think of like this kind of new agey bypassing thing or whatever. I mean, there's different ways to perceive things, but the thing I find interesting about light, as much as we may desire light or desire love, there's also a deep fear of both of those things. I can speak just for myself. Love and light I call them the great revealers, because they're shining a light, right, in the places where maybe there wasn't light before. And so that can be really uncomfortable. So when we think about love and light as if it's like some kind of light thing, if we actually go into it more deeper, we may see other things that maybe we didn't notice before. And I think sometimes when it comes to the so-called spiritual journey, which I think is really just the human journey, some people are more aware that they're on a specific journey, and other people maybe don't have that way of thinking about it. To me, it's all a journey, however we perceive what it is. We're on this human journey, but from the time we take our first inhale to the time we take our last exhale. And but on this sort of spiritual journey, sometimes there can be a lot of questions and feelings that come up about, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? What's it supposed to look like? What's it supposed to feel like? And that is what the theme I was saying, that sometimes in my one-to-one sessions, there are these themes that come up. And I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, a number of people sharing what I myself feel so often, like, am I doing something wrong? Or, just in general, friends of mine I'm talking to, and just, I don't know, it seems like this feeling in the air just from people that I've connected to in recent time. That feeling like somehow it seems like everyone else is getting it right and I'm doing it wrong. And especially I'm getting it wrong when it comes to my spiritual path or to my journey or whatever it may be. And so I wanted to talk about that a little, because that is definitely something that I am super familiar with. Just that feeling and that question, like, I got to be doing something wrong. Is everybody else seems like they have it together, but I don't know, somehow I'm like on the outside of that. And I think part of that is because of this time that we live in, where, in many years ago, before there was like social media or anything like that, spirituality was, you had to read it in books, or maybe you had a few people you could talk to about it. But now it's just kind of like everywhere, and it sort of starts to take on like a certain look, like if you do this meditation practice, you'll never have anxiety again, you'll be calm, and you'll be so happy, and everything in your life is going to flow to you, and it's all going to be, all of that stuff. And I'm not denying that if we can do certain practices and come into more integrity and alignment with ourselves, certain things in our life may start to flow better. But I don't know, at least in my experience, it's not quite that simple. And I think sometimes what's not always included in the conversation is about the upheaval that can sometimes happen, on the spiritual journey when we turn inside. Because if you think about it, for most people, our lens is always outside. We're living in this world where we're always looking at everyone else and comparing ourselves with everybody else. And we're always thinking about what we can get and take for ourselves to be happy. And it's this kind of consumer mentality that so many of us have, which is not our fault. We've all been conditioned in that way. This is like a cultural phenomenon. We've all kind of been acculturated that way. So if our mind is constantly going outside, it seems unrealistic to expect that if we suddenly turn our minds inwards and actually look at what is going on within us, that we should just immediately like snap into some like really super peaceful place, right? Because there isn't a lot of peace. It's just that we're distracting ourselves from it. At least that's what I found. But from my experience in studying a lot of different spiritual traditions, this is absolutely what happens. And so when we set up an expectation that immediately we're going to like start meditating, and then all of a sudden it's just going to be, everything is going to be perfect, I'm going to feel calm right away, it may not really be realistic to expect that of ourselves. And I want to share a story with you about that. First, one quick example I could say is like, if you've ever gone on a meditation retreat or a spiritual retreat, you get really excited to go on the retreat. There you go, you're driving or taking your bus or whatever, the retreat, you get there, and then all of a sudden you just are sitting down, and you're just sitting there and facing yourself, being there with yourself. It's like a little like needle just pops that bubble of like, it's going to be this amazing thing, and my third eye is going to open, I'm going to be full of light, and it's all going to happen. And maybe that will happen, but maybe what also will happen is just being really uncomfortable, feeling like I need to get off this meditation cushion. I need to get out of here now. I'm itchy. I don't want to do this. I'm hungry. I can't be with myself, right? All of these feelings that happen. So when I met my spiritual teacher, Amma, when I was 21 when I met her, and then when I was 22, I went on my first retreat with Amma. And I had done lots of different meditation before, because I was with Thich Nhat Hanh for many, many years before that, and I had gone to Plum Village and done meditation retreats. But when I met Amma, it was like, I guess it was kind of starting to become like a different phase in my journey or something. And I went every year. Amma would do a retreat in Michigan in November, California and Michigan, just those two dates she would do in November. And so I went one November. I was still in college. I was 22, and I went to this retreat, and I was really excited to go because I hadn't done anything like that before. I had never spent a lot of time with her, and I didn't know what to expect. And I remember I brought like a sleeping bag, and I slept on somebody's floor of their hotel room, and I didn't know anybody because I was brand new there. So it's not like I had a lot of friends or connections with anybody. I was just kind of the lone little lion doing my thing. And so I went to the program, and every evening in the program, there would be like an hour of chanting and music, and then there would be meditation, and there would be puja, like ritual and all this stuff. And every night that the program happened was so painful for me. I remember sitting there, I would sit in the audience, in the chairs, trying to get through the chanting, and it was brutal for me for some reason. And then as soon as they would like turn down the lights or whatever, or we would start doing the meditation, I literally felt like my mind was like on fire. I couldn't stop. All of these thoughts were just like going, and I couldn't get any moment of quiet. And it seemed like everybody around was just so peaceful. They were following the instructions. Nobody was moving. Everything was calm. And I felt like literally there was like this tsunami, happening inside of me. And every time when the program would end, that part of the program for the evening, and then the darshan, the blessings would begin, I would run out. This was in a hotel conference room. I would run out and I would go into the parking lot. And it was freezing. It was in the end of November in Michigan where it was really, really cold. And I just would start walking between the cars and like just freezing. I remember just shivering and freezing and just thinking, I can't go back in there. I can't go back in there. I can't go in. It's too painful. There's too much pressure. I can't face my mind. Because what happened is, as I was sitting there, all of a sudden I started just seeing all of these things, you know, I just started seeing this carousel of like me. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't stop. The thoughts about myself. And I just started saying, oh my God, I'm a horrible person. All I do is think about myself. I'm so selfish. I have all these thoughts going on, and I just couldn't stop this crazy loop